And now we need to look at the truly giant dinosaurs, the sauropods. And notice right away they have a distribution that went from the early Jurassic at the end of the life of the prosauropods, and these things will last through the rest of the Jurassic and into the late Cretaceous. Just like the prosauropods, they're found on every single continent except Antarctica. I just think we haven't found them there yet. It's kind of hard to do work there. And there's two primary families that we have to look at. Again, notice family with the IDAE ending, the diplodocids and the camarasaurids. So here's the cladogram, again, Saurischia, and then the large group here that includes the prosauropods, and then their sister branch here, the sauropods proper. Sauropodomorpha cladogram, once again, now we're going to look at the sauropods, and these are the largest animals that ever lived. Quite impressive. So let's look at the diplodocids first. The family Diplodocidae, they're characterized by all of these things here. Now notice they have a long, thin skull, and then look at these horrific buck teeth, these peg teeth, pointing forward and sticking out this way. You can even see in this sort of upward down view the teeth sticking out past the reach of the skull. And then what I think is kind of interesting, it's weird, they don't, this isn't their nasal opening. This isn't the opening to their nose. It's way up here on top of the skull above the eye orbit. Really unusual there. They are characterized by being very big, but not robust. Their bone structure is light and small. They just grew big. And they grew big by adding lots and lots of elements. So rather than just growing bigger bone elements, like growing a bigger vertebra, they added more vertebra. So rather than grow one big vertebra, maybe they would add 3 littler vertebrae. So their necks up to 19, almost 20 vertebrae, and the tails, they found these things with, now it's over 80 different vertebrae to make a long tail. Interesting group. Here's an image of one of these things. Again, you should get the impression that the bones are just kind of small and light for the size creature it is, but there's the long neck, small little pointy dainty head at the end, and then the very long, extremely long tail whipping around over in this way. Different images of these. Here's sort of a small little artist representation of this. Long tail going off in the distance. I like the skull picture actually. It shows you the long face, and then there's those forward pointed buck teeth. Again, an herbivorous group. These are contrasted with the camarasaurids, the camarasauridae, and by contrast, their skull is not long and extended, it's short and blunt, and the head is tall. And they have large spatulate teeth the entire length of the jaw, from the back all around to the front. That's different than these diplodocids, which only had snipping teeth in the front. They have large nostrils on the side of the head, but right in front of the eyes. And notice the difference. They had 12 distinct large neck vertebrae. They're not exceptionally long animals, but they're big. And then their wrists and ankles, they've been reduced to just 2 bones each. Now the thought here is that having less bones means less bones to break or fail as you are adding this sheer tonnage of these dinosaurs. Here is Camarasaurus, and this is, as it's sort of scrawled on the bottom here, this is 18 meters in length. Think of each meter as a little bit over 3 feet, and you can see you're looking at an organism that's 60, 70 feet long. And one of the things that allows them to do this, to get so large, is their unique vertebrae. So look at this vertebra. This is a vertebra from the front view, and from the side view there is this large centrum, which is the sort of ball area that connects to each successive vertebra, and then a huge neural arch, which is this extension above the vertebra here, which is a site for muscular attachment and to hold all of this up. The neural arch enclosed the spinal cord, it adds struts to the rib, it has all these different processes that act to support the structure. They are typically, this is a rather solid one, but there are a bunch that are very, very holy. So instead of having this solid mass here, you'd have just the sort of the thickened parts that you see, and they'd be hollow holes throughout. The thought is that this is a way to lighten the load. They're already so heavy with the flesh mass that they're carrying around that the bone mass just has to be supportive and strong, but doesn't have to be solid. People always ask, well, how big? How big did these things get? And you see a whole bunch of terms like Ultrasaurus, Megasaurus, Seismosaurus, Supersaurus. Think of just the simple things. Brachiosaurus, which now is the same as Ultrasaurus. Estimate, after we flesh these things out, 45 to 55 tons. If a ton is 2,000 pounds, multiply that out. This is a big, big creature. Supersaurus, which was a diplodocid, like Diplodocus, but still different, 42 meters long. 42 meters long. So again, multiply that by 3, you're looking at over 100 feet long creature. Just an amazing, amazing group. And then Seismosaurus, another one, almost equally as long. Compare that to something that we think of as big. If you go to the zoo and look at an elephant, that's 5 to 8 tons, maybe 6 to 8 meters long, maybe, for a good, big, modern bull elephant. These creatures were huge. And then another picture again with artist reconstruction, as well as the actual skull. There's the huge nasal opening in front of the eye, the row of teeth, spatulate teeth around the whole jaw, the short, blunt face. Here's it's still a rather long neck, but not long by diplodocid comparison, and then the relatively short tail. So these were the huge lumbering beasts of the, largely Cretaceous, that went around eating vegetation wherever they went. Really, really tremendous. I love to think about actually seeing a dinosaur like this. Amazing.